Ambassador Zexthal's tentacles writhed in nervous patterns as he reviewed the intelligence reports for the third time. The holographic display showed grainy footage of the human delegation's arrival on Kythera Prime, their movements casual and unhurried, despite being on a planet that had claimed 17 diplomatic missions in the past cycle. "They walk like prey," hissed General Vokhtar, his scaled hide rippling with predatory anticipation. "Soft flesh, no natural weapons, primitive sensory organs. The Shadow Maws will feast well tonight." The Galactic Council had been unanimous in their assessment. Humans were weak, defenseless creatures who had somehow stumbled into space travel through sheer luck. Their homeworld boasted no apex predators of significance, nothing compared to the Shadow Maws of Kythera, the phase hunters of Veltron, or the dreaded void stalkers of the Outer Rim. How could a species that evolved alongside mere wolves and bears possibly understand true predation? Captain Sarah Chen stepped off the transport with her small team, breathing deeply of Kythera's sulfurous air. The welcoming committee of Kytheran officials stood at what they clearly considered a safe distance, their multiple eyes tracking every human movement with the fascination of scientists observing lab specimens. "Dr. Martinez," Chen said quietly to the xenobiologist beside her, "remind me what we know about these Shadow Maws." "Apex predators, Captain. 8 feet tall, phase-shifting abilities, pack hunters with a perfect kill record against off-world visitors. The Kytherans worship them as living gods." Martinez adjusted his equipment pack with practiced ease. "They've never encountered a human before." Chen smiled, the expression that would have terrified the Kytherans had they understood its meaning. "Then they're in for an education." The first attack came at nightfall, as the Kytherans had predicted. The humans had set up camp in the ceremonial hunting grounds, ignoring their hosts' increasingly frantic warnings about the sacred nature of the territory. To the Kytherans watching from their fortified observation posts, it seemed like lambs wandering into a den of wolves. The Shadow Maw materialized from nothingness, its form a writhing mass of midnight darkness and gleaming fangs. It stood over the human camp, savoring the moment before the killing blow. The Kytherans held their collective breath, preparing to witness the swift and brutal end of another alien delegation. Instead, they watched in stunned silence as the humans began to laugh.
"Phase shifter, probably 8-footer by the stance," Chen called out, not even looking up from her meal ration.
"Classic ambush predator behavior. Rodriguez, you're up." Sergeant Rodriguez rose from his position with fluid grace, pulling out what the Kytherans initially mistook for a primitive projectile weapon. The Shadow Maw, confused by the lack of fear scent, hesitated for a crucial second. The tranquilizer dart struck true. The creature's roar of fury cut off mid-bellow as it crashed to the ground with a thunderous impact. "Specimen secured," Rodriguez reported, already moving to take biological samples. "Excellent muscle definition, probably requires a Class 5 habitat minimum." Dr. Martinez approached the unconscious predator with clinical interest, ignoring its still twitching claws that could have disemboweled him with a casual swipe. "Fascinating adaptive camouflage. The phase shifting appears to be electromagnetic rather than true dimensional manipulation. We'll need to adjust our capture protocols for the pack." "Pack?" whispered Ambassador Zexthal into his communicator, tentacles trembling. "What do they mean, Pack?" His question was answered over the next 3 hours as the humans methodically hunted down and captured the remaining 7 Shadow Maws. They moved through Kythera's deadly landscape with the confidence of apex predators, using tactics and tools that seemed impossibly advanced, yet fundamentally primitive. They tracked by scent, set traps with cunning intelligence, and cornered their prey with pack coordination that would have made their ancestors proud. "You have to understand," Captain Chen explained to the bewildered Kytheran leadership the next morning, standing beside 8 sedated Shadow Maws arranged in neat rows. "Humans didn't become the dominant species on Earth by being prey. We became dominant by being better predators than everything else." She gestured to her team, who were efficiently cataloging their night's work. "We hunted mammoths with pointed sticks. We domesticated wolves and turned them into partners. We developed persistence hunting. We literally ran our prey to death across hundreds of miles. And when we ran out of challenging prey on our own world, we started looking to the stars." General Vokhtar's voice was barely a whisper. "But your world has no true apex predators." "Because we killed them all," Dr. Martinez said matter-of-factly, looking up from his xenobiology scanner. Saber-toothed cats, cave bears, giant dire wolves extinct. Competition eliminated. Oh, and these shadow maws? Perfect candidates for Earth's newest safari preserve. The wealthy hunting enthusiasts back home will pay millions for the chance to track something that can actually phase shift. The silence that followed was broken only by the soft humming of containment. Fields around the captured predators. Captain Chen smiled that predatory human smile again. The galaxy saw us as prey because you only looked at our bodies. You should have looked at our history. We didn't climb to the top of the food chain on Earth by being gentle. We got there by being the most efficient killers our planet had ever produced. She paused, watching the color drain from Ambassador Zextel's hide. The difference is we learned to choose when to kill and when to preserve. That's what makes us civilized, not weak. As the human ship departed Cathara Prime with its cargo of legendary predators, now bound for conservation and study, the Galactic Council emergency session was already in progress. The reclassification was unanimous. Humans were not prey species. They were the hunters who made prey of apex predators for sport.